And we're live. Welcome to the spookiest day of the year, the midterm election eve. Uh, um, we did have planned a Monster Hearts game. However, 3 of my players are not able to play. So we decided not to do it. And by decided, I mean we'll not be doing it. We might do it later in the year. Ooh, maybe it's like a Christmas thing. That'd be cool. Alright, cool. Keep me on the hook. No one watches this. Keep me on the hook. We are playing Monster Hearts sometime around Christmas. Maybe with the same people? Maybe with different people? Who knows? You don't know who I was going to play with, so who do you care? It was Kit and Rose and Adam and Bucky. You don't know Rose. Actually, you do. She was in Roxy's frame the last time Roxy played. Anyway, instead, I'm gonna go over how I do the West Marches because I wanted to do this for a while and I haven't done it. So this is that, and I'm not muted. Good. I should not be muted. I'm gonna lower my volume just a smidge. Yeah. So this is what I see when I go into a new episode of the West Marches, when someone puts in... Oh, you don't even know how that works. Okay, let me explain the whole thing. This is a West Marches tutorial now. So the West Marches is a game where you have more than 4 or 8 or whatever number of players you normally would have. You have more than that. Significantly more. For me, I like to play with 4 to 6 players. The West Marches, I like to have 40. I don't have 40. I have, I think, 12, and only about 5 of them play regularly. But, so I need to get people in on that. My friends have not been good about remembering that they want to play. But this isn't about them. This is about me and what I do during my part of the game. But anyway, so you get 40 people together, and you set up a forum. We are using Discord. We like Discord because it has integrated audio chat. I do like Slack a bit more because Slack lets you do sidebars really well. But I think Slack also is a shitty company. I forget why, but I remember reading something about Slack being shitty. Hey, we have a viewer. 3 viewers. Okay, cool. For those of you who are just coming in, I'm going to talk about how to play West Marches game. Because I do that. I was going to do a different stream, but none of my players showed up. Well, one did, but anyway. So yeah, you play with 40 people, 4 at a time, you use a forum, and the players decide when to play. So I will get a request from someone who has gotten 3 other people to play on a specific date, and they will say, okay, we are going to play on Thursday at 6 p.m. for 4 hours, and we are going to clear out the bandits. That ended up happening 3 weeks in a row because they never actually cleared out the bandits for 3 weeks. Yeah. What am I missing? And that's basically what a West Marches game is. What you do on my end is once you have the request to do the mission, assuming that you're free on that time, you'll have to give them a schedule. I actually have to update my schedule. I didn't do the November schedule yet, but I'm pretty much free every day except Thursday. But that doesn't matter. So you'll get the request. You'll say, okay, we're playing that time, that day, these people, and all my viewers are gone. That was quick. And then you play. At least that's the player side. if you're on the DM side, you'll get the request, and then you'll say, okay, I have a week to set up the adventure. Oh, I forgot to mention, you make sure that they tell you a week in advance before you play. Otherwise, it's madness. I tried to do it briefly, and then I'm like, nope, we're having boundaries. We gotta set some boundaries on this. We cannot have a day of preparation. Because if you have a week, you mull over what you're gonna do, and then you think about better things. Like your first instinct, not the best all the time. You want to be able to like go back and check to make sure you still think it's good. And so I like to have a week. Sometimes I don't though. Sometimes I don't have a week. Sometimes we have just like 4 days. Or like, hey, you already know what you're gonna do for this mission, so it doesn't really matter. So why don't we just play tomorrow? And I'll be like, okay, fine. But yeah, that's the gist of it. Then you play. But then you need to set up. So this is what I do to set up. I have 2 templates. Here are all the episodes. We've got all 13 episodes planned out. I'm not gonna... I could show you the first one. Why not? No, wait, the first one uses a different template. So I have 2 templates that I used, and I can go over them, I guess. There's template 1, which you would put in like where they are, and then you put in what happens. But I don't like doing that anymore. What I do now is I put in where they are and what happens in the same group. See, I've put the hex where they are. I also have the map. I like to use hex grid for West Marches games. I've only played one West Marches game, this one. But I like to play with both. What am I saying? There is no both. I like to play with a hex grid. If only I knew how to edit, then I could do outtakes and like do that again. Oops. I like to play with a hex grid. I use hexes. There are 12 miles across, 14 miles longwise. So like from vertices to vertices, there are 14 miles. From top to bottom, they are 12, and halfway is 7 or 6 miles, respectively. That allows me to know how far anything is really easily because of the Pythagorean theorem, I think is what it's called. I haven't been in high school in a while. You're probably hearing my desktop. People are liking stuff of mine on Facebook. Very, very nice. This is not important. So I've broken up one day into 3 phases. So there's the day, the afternoon. Well, it's not. It's the mid. I don't know what the camp, setting up time, and then the night. And so each watch is 4 hours. And what I do is I roll once to see if there's an encounter in the first watch. I roll again to see if there's an encounter in the second watch. And then I roll once to see if there's an encounter in the rest of the day. I also do that. So essentially there's 3 watches. I also do that for weather rolls. If you'll notice, this is what I use for weather. It is the donjon.bin.sh/d20/weather. Right now we're in autumn, so I moved it to autumn. And this is for 3.5. So I don't use the rules the same, but I do generate what the weather is. So it's, 9 degrees Fahrenheit. We had a long debate on Fahrenheit and Celsius last time. Yeah, well, it's clear. What's some, snow, wind. Ooh, animus blizzard. What the heck is that? Sorry, I'm not trying to swear. I almost said the F word. But yeah, I use that, and then each of these things will have a weather. So there's the weather in the day, weather while setting up the camp, and weather in the night. Yeah, and then I can show you the rulings that I made. I did change stuff to roll randomly on the donjon chart, but then these are the rulings that I have. So instead of the cold stuff in donjon, every 4 hours or once per watch you make a save. Same sort of stuff. It's con, except you take damage. You can't die from the damage. Yeah, there's snowstorms now. There's severe colds, luminous clouds. I thought there was more weather. Mostly the weather is just foggy and windy. Oh, do I not have windy? Windy imposes disadvantage on stuff. So this gives us something to change how the battle... Oh, I do have windy. This changes how battles will happen. What will happen during them. Some of my players have gotten very lucky and fought against ranged combatants only during very windy times of the day. It's very annoying because all of your archers never hit during a windstorm. It's very annoying and I hate it, especially when all your players are melee combatants. But whatever, that's weather. And I do that for every episode, but you'll also have noticed there's I'm getting a message on whether we're playing tomorrow or not. I guess we could play tomorrow. No, we probably shouldn't. We'll play next week. It's for my sci-fi game, which we haven't played in months, so I'm very excited for that. But I'll deal with that later. You've noticed I have all this space for encounters and experience points. Yeah, so I'll show you where I go for that. So I go back to the West Marches of Multuna section, and we do the regions of Multuna. So these are all the regions that I have yet to make, and these are the ones that I have made. So we'll go to, let's say, where is it? The Kosala Barrens. That's the place where all the bandits are. So here are some things that can happen. So I have the level it is, and I always tell the players what kind of level they should expect for each mission, because I've noticed when they don't know what they're up against, lower level characters will just do whatever and will die. We had 10 deaths within the first 5 episodes, and we haven't had a death since because I started doing this thing. Organization level is for the faction turn. I actually never put that in the Baron, in any of the region sections. I really should do that. And then the tags. Then random encounters. And I usually do it per watch. Though I guess maybe I should start doing it per day, but that seems high. I don't know. Right now I do it per watch, so it's 3 times a day. And then if they're on a border with another region, I roll to see if it's from a different region. And then I roll, that's supposed to be a 2d6. Yeah. So actually, these guys are dead too. Yeah, I have to replace that then. Oh, I replaced that one. 7. And I'll come up with something. But yeah, I roll a 2d6 and I decide what it's going to be based off of that. And then I use this sometimes to determine whether they're going to be aggressive or not. Usually I just use my best judgment from which players are playing. Like if Footfalls plays, for instance, then I know that any of the minions of either the Witch or the Blight Tree aren't going to attack him. They're actually going to help. Because he is such an ally to them. Not that he's done anything yet, but he will. Yeah, I just do that for every day. I have 10 days ready. I hope to God they never do more than 10 days in one episode, because that would be just freaking terrible. But yeah, that's what I do, and then I write down which players, which characters, and then experience points and equipment. You always want to write that down. I'm looking at the screen. Whatever, it doesn't matter. You wouldn't get it. This is my camera. I should look at the camera. Because my audience is here. You always want to write down what equipment they might find, like all of the monsters' equipment beforehand, so that you don't have to look up their gold, write down their gold stuff, how much gold they're worth, how much damage they do if they're a weapon, what's their range if they're a ranged weapon. Just write down everything so you don't have to look it up later. You have it all in one spot. And then I have XP gained. Because if you notice, D&D is not a role-playing game, and it's not an exploration game. It is a combat simulator. And if you want to do role-playing and exploration with it, you can, but it's tough. And if the players are not incentivized to do so, it is even tougher. So what I do is I give them experience points for finding things, and I give them inspiration for role-playing. So every gray area, like every time this gray area comes around, the players get to do a scene. Now that scene can be during the gray time, but it can be any time during the day. One player will pick another player, and then they will roleplay. And if they don't phone it in, they get inspiration, both of them. It doesn't have to be a long scene, but it has to be a scene. It has to not be phoned in, so try and make it impactful if you do this. I think my favorite example of this was when Footfalls and Crake were talking about a storm. And Footfalls, who knew that the other storm was coming, the storm that the Deep One made, where the eye appears out of the clouds and drives everyone mad, spoilers, he knew it was coming, and he talked about it as if it was happening. And they just had some of the best dialogue I could ask for at that moment. And then when it happened, they did another scene together, and Footfalls repeated a lot of the same dialogue, and then he added more onto it. And then Crake, played by Kit, understood what was happening. And I'm not sure if Crake fears the Deep One as much as he should. Yeah, I'll do an episode on the Deep One after they've met the Deep One and know shit about the Deep One. Oh, I did it, swears. Whatever. After they've met, and maybe after they've defeated the Deep One, I'll do an expose. I think that's what it's called, on the Deep One. Because I love the Deep One. The Deep One is one of my favorite ideas. And actually, it's Gabe's idea. But I've taken it and rolled with it. And, done a bunch of other shit with it. And I really like it. And the Quellacanth, if you haven't seen the most recent episode, Those are super cool. Yeah, I like that there's a villain now, like, is out there. Several now, actually, in the past couple episodes. But anyway, they get a scene, and then at night they get to rest. Now, I always have them do short rests, because if they do a long rest every day, they get all their hit points back. And what was the point of that combat that we just did? And the way I justify this is the wilderness is really, really, really dangerous. And you really have to be careful when you go into the wilderness. I want it to be dangerous. But if you find a safe place, like if you rest in Morutka or in Zarnemsa, then you get a long rest. Also, if they have a safe place to rest. Now, currently they don't, but if they do, they'll be allowed. Like the Mother's Monadnock. That could be a safe place to rest. That's, not too far away, so maybe it's not worth it. But for a lower level character, it probably is, actually. If you're going to go fight the goblins nearby, you'd want to, like, go to the Mother's Monadnock, rest up a bit, and then go fight the goblins. And you'd be able to do a long rest instead. Replenish everything, which would be great. And then after you rest, you go to the next day. And maybe there's an encounter, there's new weather. I roll weather 3 times for every day. You've already seen that. I keep track of where they're at. Now, to go into before. So like I said, there's experience points. Let's just do that quickly. Hold on. I know that my players might watch this, so I want to make sure that nothing important. You don't see anything important. So just wait a bit. I need a good example. Oh god, there's no good examples. Because none of them... All of them have stuff that the players haven't seen. Oh, I know what to do. We'll go back to an episode. We'll just, like, see what they got there. Here we go. Oh, they didn't get any experience points? No, they totally got experience points. Oh, I didn't... I only started doing that recently. Let's try this one. Okay, yeah, so the experience points gained. You gain experience points when you find out new information about a monster, about a culture, about a location. These are actually called Smeralths now. Smeralths. I like Smurfs, but they're Smeralths. Smeralths can make small portals. The Fae are wary of you, discovering the abandoned camp. The dead wood around the tower is actually blights. The owlbear is making its home in an abandoned camp. The eye is watching you. So I like to do 50 experience points for things that are decent, like finding something new. Something minor, I'll give 25. Like, oh, I don't even have an example at the moment. Yeah, I don't even have an example. But yeah, 25 for something minor, 50 for something normal, and then 100 for something big. Maybe 200 for something really big, but that's never come up, and I don't think it will. And Now at low levels, this will be most of the experience points. And I think up to like level 4, you have the chance, if you're good and like going into new places, to level up 4 times in a row. And I think that's actually been done by several characters. So that's cool. I wonder if I mute... Oh, if I mute my computer, you won't hear anything, but I will. Cool. No, other way around. None of us will hear anything, but you will hear me. My bad. Right, so that's what I do for that. Then when you start the game, you do downtime. How long have we been doing this? Only 25 minutes? I can do like smaller stuff too. Whatever, doesn't matter. I don't care. Downtime. You start the game, everyone takes a long rest. This should have already been done. Also, you get to buy whatever items you want. Big purchases, clear them with me. Small purchases, whatever. I don't care if you buy 100 arrows. I don't care if you buy a new sword or something. As long as you're not buying, magic items or some, like, I don't know, like plate mail or anything. Then you pay the lifestyle cost. Now, you only do this if you want to roll a die. If you don't, no reason in doing that. After that, you pick an action. The actions are here. You can build or upgrade a facility. You can use a facility. You can level up. There used to be a cost, but I got rid of that because that was super lame. You can work on a project. I stole this from Blades in the Dark by John Harper. He's a great game maker. I love Blades in the Dark, and I love the clock system. I use it in all of my games to like denote projects that are ongoing. So when someone starts a project, you create a clock. It is generally a 4, 6, or 8 tick clock. But you can pretty much do whatever you want. I've used 1 tick clocks, just to denote that something has happened. But for projects, I generally do 6 or 8. And then that player will roll their die, and they get 2d6 plus their lifestyle bonus, and they can spend an extra 100 to gain another +1, max 3. So they can get like a +5, which is pretty good. Because you roll a 7 +5, you get a 12. So yeah, you spend enough money, things will happen for you. But there's no chance that you'll never there's no way that you'll never have no chance of failing. Even if with a +5, you can still get a 6, which I like having the chance of. I used to have also aristocratic in there for the lifestyle costs, which gave a +3. I also upped all the costs because they were originally per day, and I was only using them per adventure, and so that didn't make much sense. So I upped them all. You'll notice actually that there's the barracks, and that reduces the cost by 5 gold. I'll get into that later. And then when you like complete your clock, you get whatever it was. Like Melbach is training a frog to accept him as a rider, and that's a 6-tick clock. He, every session he rolls and sees how well he does, and then he adds the ticks. And then when he gets all 6, he will be able to use 4 pads as a battle mount. Another thing you can do are research, scout, peruse. I got a text message. Hopefully that's not from my mother. Oh, cool. Text from Patrick. He's my friend. He was watching, I guess. Cool. Yeah, you can research, scout, carouse, pray, train, or study. These are all things that require rolls. This is the old lifestyle chart. As you can see, I upped the gold significantly. Then all those actions have tables related to them. I use these as reference tools for my table making. And then I made my own tables. I made a lot of tables. My favorite is the magic chart, because all sorts of bad shit can happen. It also, I think, gives the most interesting of abilities. You get a spell, but it's a weird spell. So what you do... Oh no, did I not... random spell list, yes. Did I write down... oh no, I just wrote every spell that you might be able to get. So random first level spells, second level spells. Oh, I did oneth and tooth and threeth, didn't I? Oh god. I'm embarrassed. That was on purpose. It's an in-joke to myself. I'm part of a community. I don't know if you've heard of Far Verona, but I'm part of that. And in the Acre Corporation, we don't call them first, second, third. We call them oneth, tooth, and threeth. But yeah, you roll randomly. You get a spell. You can only get up to a 5th level spell, which is, I think, enough, because you can use it once per session. I think it's once per session. Sometimes you can use it once per session, and you can use it as like a known spell. You add it to your spell list, which I really like. But when you also... You also go to this other document that I have, and you roll a D100 to see what kind of weird thing happens. This, if you're wondering, is how Crake has access to the Deep One. There's one of these things where it creates a rift in space. Not all of them have something. I need to come up with one for number 64. Yeah, let's go to a random one. Pick a number, no one's watching. 68. Mirror Magic. This spell causes an eldritch echo that duplicates your appearance as if they had cast mirror image. However, the duplicate image saps a single point of cha until dismissed. Interesting. Not that cool. But can be used effectively if you account for it. Like, I think random stuff is very cool because it does stuff. It like prompts people. Like, for instance, Kit's character, Crake. If he didn't roll this random thing, then he wouldn't know what the Deep One is, and he wouldn't be trying to summon it for whatever reason. Yeah, there's 100 of them almost. I think I'm missing 2. Yeah, I think there's not 100. Where is it? Like 50 something. Yeah, 41 to 60 is no change. So you have a chance of not having any weird shit happen, which is fine. I don't like it, but players like it. And yeah, so that you can get a lot of experience points. You can get like up to a 5th level spell or something. And in some cases you can select. Oh, also this one like lets you join a secret society, which is cool. And then obviously there's mishaps. I mean, not obviously. You roll 3d6 for this one, you roll an 8 or lower, which is not very likely. You have a mishap, and then something bad happens, like you succeed at the ritual, but at a cost. A strange visitor comes to you one midnight and offers you the secret to the magic that you sought, but asks for something in return. The visitor wants 1. Something that is or will come to be in your possession. 2. To age you 1d10 years. For you to kill someone of his choosing. For the magic to have no effect on him or his kind. The visitor is either demon or fae. Your end of the agreement goes into effect at the end of this adventure. If you accept, roll on the magical research table again. If you fail, again, sucks to suck. It still fails and follow the normal rules. Or you can take a second bargain to roll again. But the cost will be higher, like stats or HP or something. So yeah, there's like random shit that can happen. You contract some sort of astral disease. Or a gruesome murder has occurred and the authorities want your help in divining who might have done it. Like, it takes time away from you. Now, that one is actually, like, good because... good for the player. It's not good in general. It's not good in general because there aren't really any NPCs in the town. Like, there's the Marshal, and there's Vlada, I think his name is, the barkeep, who has been in 1 episode. And all of the other townsfolk are basically useless, because generally we want to leave the town as soon as we start the game. I really should make it so that there are adventures in the town. Not like fighty adventures, but like, hey, something weird happened in the town, go investigate, or some shit. I keep swearing. Anyway, there are also minor corruptions, major corruptions, and weird demonic things. Carousing, no one's used, actually, which I actually think makes sense. It doesn't really give you that much, as opposed to the other ones. Though also, like, none of the stuff is all that interesting. It's all like social stuff, and there's not enough social NPC interaction that it matters yet. So I found a deficiency in my game, and I need to shore that up. I need to start making, finding stuff out about NPCs worth experience points. Thinking maybe we can do 10, 15 experience points, maybe 25. Just to like make people want to interact with NPCs more. There's scouting, which I have like stuff where you can ask questions about what's going to happen, because I roll up my encounters beforehand so that I don't have to come up with them on the fly. I don't really have snafus, though. If you can think of anything, like some scouting snafus, that'd be super great. Put them in the comments below. Sorry, there's something in my nose. It's probably hair. Prayers are a little different. You roll a d20 instead of a 2d or 3d6. And then you get a boon. And then if you fuck up, there I go again, you get a bane, which are different for each of them. The training table. Oh, important thing. If you roll a number, say you roll a 7, then you can pick 7 or anything of a lower number, which would be higher. So if you get a 7, you can pick 6, 5, 4, 3, or 2 if you want. Anyway, this is the training table. You roll 2d6. There are no training troubles because I wanted something that people could do and not have to risk negative consequences. So if you train, you will get something good. Not necessarily what you want, not necessarily something great, but it'll be useful. Like, I think Gabe rolled experience points. He rolled a 10. He didn't even care about the skill points. He used that once. Or the skill advantage. He used it once. What he wanted was 100 experience points. And if he didn't get those 100 experience points, he wouldn't have leveled that session. So he got something good. Melbach got an 11 last session. He got a friend. He got Kane to work for him for the session. Then there's the studying table. I don't have any studying screw-ups. Because if you fail at studying, you'll know because you rolled very poorly. Oh, I need to change this. I'm just going to make it red for now to remind myself at some point to change that. And then I have Oracle table. I have the Alchemist table. That's it. But they don't have an Oracle or an Alchemist in the town just yet. And I can show you how that works. The town of Zarnemsa. What I do for facilities is there is the town facility, which can hold up to 4 other facilities. It starts with a barracks of level 0, and then things can be upgraded. So they have gotten an armsman, which I should actually write down that they have, because the armsman gives +1 to training rolls. Come on. Which is super useful because Gabe does that every session. Always trains. The stables allow them to have horses. They actually don't have horses. They have 1 horse and a bunch of frogs, which are actually going to go to sleep now that it's like autumn. Because in this setting, it's very cold in autumn. But they have barracks level 2, which, like I said earlier, gets rid of the lifestyle cost of 2 levels of lifestyle. And also they have Monument to Heroes, which starts at level 1 and goes to level 2, because what that does is it lets you level up at the beginning. When you first make your character, you can level them up to whatever level the Monument of Heroes is, which is helpful for late game when they're fighting the Deep One and the Deep One's allies, and someone dies, and they're like, shit, now I gotta start at level 1. It's like, oh wait, no I don't. I can start at level 2. Presumably they will buy higher levels of Monument of Heroes because that is useful. This is notes that I have from Stephen and Adam. They are Stephen Lumpkin and Adam Coble, who I essentially made the idea off of. Like, they talked about the West Marches that Stephen was running, and that were like, I was like, I want to run a West Marches game, and he had finished his West Marches game and didn't really do any of this stuff, but I wanted to make sure to do the stuff. Like, I wanted to make sure that I actually went through with what Adam and Steven planned. Because I really liked their idea, but then they just didn't do it. Yeah, so these are all of the things. I will go scroll through them so that you can see what I have done. Because presumably you're watching this video because you want to run your own Marches game. And we've been doing this for 45 minutes. I got a few more things to say. Hero points. So, in order for characters to... In order for people to write up mission summaries, because it is a West Marches game, and you really do want to encourage people to talk to each other. I currently have the problem where they are not talking to each other. And so I decided to come up with hero points. Now, hero points, I think, are in the game normally. They're a variant rule. And you can use them to get extra benefits. The most important one, I think, is stabilize or prevent instant death. Automatically stabilize or prevent instant death. It costs 2 hero points, which is the smallest amount of hero points you can have if you have any and haven't spent them. Because 1 write-up is worth 2 hero points. Yeah. I think Garth has a few. Bucky's character has a few. I forgot their character's name, though. And then Crake has a few. And they've used I think only Crake has used that, and only in the last session. And I find it weird that no one uses them and no one wants them. They're really useful. Like, if you go up to higher levels, you can spend 5 hero points and take an additional turn. That's amazing. Just take a second turn. I love it. I love it. But no one else seems to care. No one wants them. No one writes up. Also, what I do is if someone does a 2-part or a 3-part episode and they do a write-up for the whole thing, they get all of the points. So they get 6 points. Yeah. I really do need to figure out how to make people want to do this. Like, they should just want to do this. These are purely beneficial things. Anyway, if you have a suggestion for how to make my players want to do write-ups and share information with each other, put a comment in the comments section so that you can tell me. But yeah, it basically lets you use your abilities more often, or like roll with advantage or impose disadvantage or not die, which is always nice. Here's the random stuff. What's this? Overland travel. Ah, yes. So this is the Alexandrian.net. I highly suggest reading it. It's at thealexandrian.net/wordpress/17320/roleplaying -games /hexcrawl -part -2 -wilderness -travel. It's all about hex crawls. Very good stuff. This is also the net librum of magical effects. I think it's 10,000 random magical effects. I like it. I don't ever use it. But if you have a chaos sorcerer and they really want to do something random, because basically that's what you're doing. You're saying, okay, pick a number 1 through 10,000. So let's take 1,837. The caster thinks he is pursued by a red dragon, but is not. Not great for the caster. 3,116. Caster's presence causes children to cry. Nice. Number 4,822. Target attracts maggots, lice, and rot grubs. Just like random, very random stuff. The target sucks his thumb like an infant for 1d4 turns, which essentially means that they can't use one of their hands. That's cool. Target's clothing turned to snow. Yeah. Target's voice causes fruit to fall nearby. One random male nearby thinks he's twice his actual age. All birds within 1 mile become amphibious. Yeah, so this is the Net Librum of magical effects. I like it. I've never used it. I don't know who wrote it. But they're very funny, some of them. Oh, by Orex. Thank you, Orex. Shout out to Orex, whoever that is. Tools to consider. Some stuff that I use is the Encounter Builder for Kobold Fight Club. Very helpful. A bunch of Alexandrian stuff. This is Steven Adams' Downtime stuff. They have like written up stuff. Yeah, this is just some stuff that you might want to consider, and I think that is how you play the West Marches. Oh, there's one more thing that I'd like to go over, and that is factions. This is a map of Molduna as far as the factions are concerned. Oh wait, shoot, don't, no. Oh, I'm such a fool. I put that on for way too long. Players, if you dare look at that, don't. Because they haven't explored that far. But yeah, what I have is factions. It's from the Stars Without Number game. What I have done is made too many factions and spread them throughout the map. Now they have goals over here, relationships with the party, which I haven't really filled out because it's basically useless because there's so many NPCs, so many player characters. These are the sci-fi versions of the tags that give them special effects. Like Deep Rooted gives them a bonus on defense rolls in their home planet, but in this version, it is their home region. Yeah, I write down all the faction turns here. I keep track. Yeah, if you look up Stars Without Number faction turn, you'll probably find something. These are all of the assets. They use wealth, cunning, and might. No, force. I renamed them to might, influence, and economic, and then renamed them all like Beast Guide, except the Beast Guide is actually called something else, or Acolyte. Oh, I changed that one. There's one that I didn't change. Harvesters. Yeah, there's harvesters. I call them resource gatherers. They let you roll for extra money. I'm not going to go into like a big description. But yeah, it's spreadsheets, the game. They fight, they have attacks, they counterattack. Each faction has stats. I like it a lot. It takes maybe an hour, 2 hours. 3 if you made the mistake that I did of putting in 20-something factions. But 2 of those factions are already dead, so good on me. And then I also have a faction relationship chart, which says to let me remember who hates who more. Yeah, I use that. I do that once every 4 episodes to be like, okay, a month has gone by. What has happened? What is going on around the place? And in the next episode, you'll actually get to see some consequences of the faction turn. You actually already did the Calocanth. The fact that the Calocanth are where they are is weird and part of the faction turn. And you will find that out. I also have production stuff. There's a journal that I'm working on. There's music that I use to give myself ideas. Videos I need to make, like this one. Schedules, I need to update that. And then stuff that I need to consider for various topics, just miscellaneous things. Interesting terrain types and magic items. I really like this magic items section. I try to make all my magic items unique. Obviously, I'm going to use stuff from the Player's Handbook, but I also am using other random biz. Some of the stuff I took from the Adventure Zone because there were a bunch of items that they never bought that were super cool. Like the Ring of Pointing. It's a laser pointer. It's lovely. So this was my ramble. I will at some point here, I'll even do this now. I will make a video how to play West Marches fast version. I really didn't expect to do this today. I thought we were going to play Monster Hearts. But we did not play Monster Hearts. Anyway, that is what I do to play this game. I'm just looking to see if I have forgotten anything. But yeah, once you have all this, you play the game. And honestly, I make it sound harder than it is, I think. You don't have to do any of this. I just find it better and easier on me if I have done this stuff. Sorry, I'm just putting away this lamp. I didn't actually end up needing it. I don't think the light changed significantly. Yeah, I think that's going to be it for me. Oops. You know what? Yeah, here's Stars Without Number. You should totally... I'll plug it right now. Come watch us play Slice of Pie. I think we're playing on Tuesday next week. It's a sci-fi game. This is the map. I really like... I started working on this 4 years ago. We only started playing 3 years ago. We've played every year for 3 years, every summer. If you like what you saw, please play West Marches. If you didn't like what you saw, probably should have left a while ago. Yeah. That's the West Marches. We play whenever the players want to, which is actually very bad for a viewing schedule. I think having a more consistent schedule would have been better for viewership. But even when I had consistent schedule for Slice of Pie, we never got viewers to regularly show up. Also, if you, what's it called, promote my channel, I don't know, share a video, tell your friends about it, and then also use the hashtag on Twitter, slice of pie game. No, slice of pie _game. Then I will be able to see it, and I will name an NPC after you, or you can choose the name of an NPC. I haven't decided which will be which, but if you do this, I will get in contact with you, and you will get to influence the name of an NPC in one of my games. Yeah. Thank you for sticking with me for an hour and 1 minute. I'm gonna go eat dinner. Oh! Vote! Don't forget to vote. That's tomorrow. So, if you saw the video today, the 5th, vote in your elections. It's very important. I'm not going to talk about my politics, but at least not here. But vote. Please vote. Vote, 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 vote. If you vote, tell me on my hashtag, sliceofpie_game, I think.